I'd like to discuss a very recent topic that I'm pretty sure some of you might have encountered or some of you aren't that familiar with. So it's regarding the director's ID. So I'd like to first and foremost start with what is a director's ID. So since the 1st of November last year, 2021, the director's ID is now a legal requirement for all and new existing directors. It's basically a 15-digit identifier which is given to a director that you apply for once and keep forever. So meaning to say, even if you go overseas or you close your company and start up a new one, it's still the same director's ID per individual. So no need to keep on applying. The same thing applies just like your TFN. And unfortunately, as this director ID is also confidential, you must apply it for yourselves. We can't help you with that, especially since the application needs to go through MyGov ID. But don't worry, it's pretty easy. It will just take you 3 steps in order to do an application for this director's ID. I'll be going through those 3 steps with you guys. First and foremost, before we do the 3 steps, here are some important dates that you have to know. So, um, if you have become a director on or before the 31st of October 2021, you must apply for a director's ID by the 30th of November this year, 2022. And if you applied or became a director between the 1st of November 2021 and the 4th of April 2022, you must apply for your director's ID within 28 days of your appointment. From the 5th of April this year, 2022, it's now a requirement for you to apply first for a director's ID before you create your own company. So, yeah, let's get to the 3 steps on applying for a director's ID. So, before that, why do you need one? Of course, it protects your identity and prevents identity theft. With everything being accessible online right now, it's very important that we secure our identity. And if we do that, it would make us more credible to our clients or the clients of our business. So by doing that, it improves our business credibility and makes your clients know that you're actually legit and in it for the long run. So how to apply for a director's ID. So step one, you have to ensure you have a MyGov ID. So some of you may ask, like, what is the difference between a MyGov ID and a MyGov? So MyGov ID is an app. You download the MyGov ID app to your smart device. So whether it's Android or iOS, it lets you prove who you are and log into a range of government online services, including MyGov. MyGov, however, is an account. Your MyGov lets you link to and access online services provided by the ATO, Centrelink, Medicare, and a lot more. So think of it this way. MyGov ID is sort of the key to the portal, which is MyGov, and the key for you to access all of your government accounts. So step one on this application is you would need to have a smart device. As I said, it would either be iOS or Android. Either is fine. Second is you have to have an email address. So please take note that this should not be a shared email address or work email address. It has to be your own personal email address. The requirement for a MyGov ID is for you to be 15 years or older. But as we know, in order for you to be a company director, you have to be of legal age, which is 18 years old and above. So you have to ensure you have a MyGov ID before you do that. Also take note that you have to compile a list of documents that the ATO or the MyGov might ask you for verification. A couple of documents that you can provide or identification that you can provide is your Medicare information as well as your TFN or your driver's ID. So please note that you also need to have at least a standard access in order for you to proceed and apply for a director's ID. So step two is gathering your documents. As I said, you would need documents for the ATO to verify who you are or what your identity is. So an example is your tax file number, your residential address as held by the ATO, information from two documents to verify your identity. So once again, please note that these are your personal details and not your company details. The third step is very easy. So all you would need to do is go to the ABR's website. When you go to the website, you should be able to see this button, which is Apply Now with MyGov ID. All you have to do is click on it and it would guide you through the application process. So all you have to do is fill in your documents, fill in your information, and the website would be able to help you with the application. When you go through the website, once you click the button, it would ask you for a PIN or for a one-time four-digit code. So all you would have to do is if you have your MyGov on your phone, just type the code from your phone over to the website and it should be able to open up the access for you. Once you've gone through the application for your director's ID, the next step is to actually manage your director's ID. So once you've applied, it would automatically show your director's ID on the screen. So please note that the director's ID is also very confidential. So please keep it in a highly secured area or a highly secured document, but rather it would be best if you write it down just so you know we avoid having any security issues with your technical devices. So when you receive your director's ID, you need to pass it on to the record holder in your company. This might be your company secretary, another director, a contact person, or an authorized agent of the company. Kindly also provide us a list or provide us with your director's ID for our safekeeping and for our records as well. At the moment, there is no requirement to provide your director's ID to the Australian Securities and Investment Commission. But as we've read in articles, in the far future, it might be a requirement. And should you not create your director's ID in the time frame specified earlier, then there might be penalties. So as soon as you can, you should go ahead and apply for a director's ID to avoid having penalties. For more information about this, you can always go to the ABR's website. So you can go to abrs.gov.au/director identification number/about director's ID.